Welcome back to another installment of Replay or Reject, PlayStation Classic Edition. Just a quick recap, I'm giving each game on the PlayStation Classic 1 hour to win me over. After that hour, I'll make my determination on whether the game would be worth replaying in the future, or if it will get added to my ever-growing list of reject games that I never want to play again. There's only one game on this list that I've actually beaten before. The rest of them either I have barely played, never played, or never even heard of. Well, that's enough preamble, so let's get to it. Well, we've finally done it. We made it to the last game on the classic console. It seems like forever ago that I started this project, and it did feel like way more of an ordeal than I expected it to be.
My life is more difficult than anyone else's on the planet, and yes, I'm including starving children, so don't ask!
Before we get into the game, let's check in with my former as well as present day selves, just to see how things were going back then versus how they're going now.
Flashback.
Hey past Josh, you know how you spend most of your free time sitting on your ass and playing video games?
Yeah.
Well, how about playing all 20 games from the PlayStation Classic and making a video for each one, and maybe along the way you'll learn a thing or two about video editing while you do it.
Sure. Sounds like fun.
One eternity later.
Hey current day Josh, how's that project going? Oh, okay, I guess let's get into our last game then. So last up we have Wild Arms, which is yet another game that I never heard of before. But looking at the box art, I just guessed it was going to be an RPG game. And then when the intro played, I was positive it was going to be an RPG. We get an anime intro here where we get a quick view of each of our heroes, and then they all meet up on top of a mountain. There's some old-timey Wild West music in the background too, so I guess that's the wild part of Wild Arms. At the main menu, we're just going straight into the game. I know I've complained about some of the games on this classic console not having a bunch of game modes, but RPGs are exempt from that complaint in my book because they usually only have that one long single-player game, and they don't really need anything else. We do get the choice of 3 different characters to play as, either a wandering youth, a treasure hunter, or a girl from an abbey. I have no idea what the difference would be between them, so I just picked the Wandering Youth since he was first. So he's a farmhand, but he's apparently destined to become a dream chaser. We join him as he's just finishing up his workday. Bossman gives him a healing berry and tells him to go talk to the mayor to see what else needs done. So I take him to meet with the mayor, and he gives me some bombs. This game off the bat reminds me a lot like Zelda. We're getting bombs, we can pick up and throw chickens, we can befriend horses. Okay, maybe not so much on that last one.
Well, sir, I don't like it.
Then as we're trying to leave, some douche runs up and slams into us on his way to talk to the mayor. There's monsters in some cave or something, and these two are too chicken shit to do anything about it, so I guess it's on us to save the day. So I head out of town and down to the Berry Cave, and there's another dude there saying that some kids got past him, but what is he to do? How about go in and get him, dude? Seriously, is there an ounce of testosterone around here anywhere? Well, I guess it's up to me to do everything. Not too long after I enter the cave, I get hit with my first battle, and we switch art styles to a more 3D style, which instantly summoned the inner Civi 11 in me.
Nice fucking model!
I killed the balloon, whatever that's supposed to be, and delved deeper into the cave, doing some more random battles along the way, finding some items in chests that I have no idea what they do, and solving a super basic switch puzzle. Eventually we find the end of the tunnel and see some berries, and then right behind them is some kind of glowing totem. So I pick up the berries, and then after I did all the work of clearing out the cave while everyone else just stood back, this dude runs in and just assumes I'm going to give him the berries. As we make our way out, the totem cracks, and then there's a huge earthquake, and now the entire village shows up. Again, where were you people earlier? As we're about to leave, the dog sees something coming out of the shadows, and it looks like it's going to be our first boss. It's called a zombie, even though it's got to be one of the least zombie-looking things I've ever seen in any video game. I mean, it does kind of look like something out of Resident Evil, like if one of Dr. Birkin's mutations also had a little bit of dog thrown in. But anyway, even with all those other people standing around, I still had to solo this thing. Thanks for nothing. It was during this battle, though, that I played around a little bit more in the menu and realized that I had more than just a basic sword attack. In the skill menu, I found a hand cannon, and it does way more damage than the sword. It was also at that moment that the full title of the game finally connected for me. It's wild as in Wild West, and arms as in another word for guns.
What are you talking about?
How is it not obvious?
It's not obvious to me at all.
You are stupid. You are straight up stupid.
This was a pretty long fight, even with my newfound boomstick, and this boss did way more damage than anything else I'd encountered so far. Overall, though, it wasn't too tough of a battle. I just shot him each turn until my health got low-ish, then safety healed when I needed to. He did eventually go down, and then I casted the Holy Berry at it to completely destroy it. And what was my reward, you ask? The entire town turning on me and blaming me, just saying I brought doom on everybody. Seriously? After I saved all of you? It then cuts back to town, and they all made their judgment that I have to leave. On my way out, at least the kid comes and thanks me, so I guess that made it all worth it. Then it fades out, and I'm given a menu again with those 3 different characters. I didn't know if I was supposed to switch to one of the others here or not, and it let me just keep playing as Rudy, so I just picked him and kept playing. Out on the world map, I didn't know where to go, but when I headed south, I found a city called Adelheid. Wandering around, the people mention a festival that's coming up, as well as telling me to go find Dr. Emma. I find her, but then she just talks more about the festival and some kind of artifact. That wasn't much help, so I wandered around some more before stumbling on the town's castle. I then tried talking to the king, and he, again, just mentions artifacts and the festival and stuff, but no real direction on what I'm supposed to be doing. I took a lap around the castle, but I didn't find anything here, so I exited back to the town and eventually found the East Plaza where some guy said the festival was going to take place. I strolled around here for a little bit, and everyone I talked to said this was where the festival was going to be, but I couldn't figure out how to get it to start. I don't know if there was some trigger I missed somewhere, or if I was supposed to be playing as one of those other characters first, before moving on to this part of the game or something. But yeah, I just kept walking around this area here, hoping to do something that would progress the story. I didn't end up finding anything though, and this is where my hour ran up. So, for the final time on the PS Classic, replay or reject. This one's going to be a replay. Even though I got basically nothing accomplished, this is another game that after my hour was up I had almost no notes. I was too busy playing and just kinda got absorbed into the game. It's also not realistic to get very far in an RPG game within an hour. In general, these are longer games and they tend to be front-loaded with a lot of story exposition. These also aren't the type of game that you can really rush. I did get lost there for like my last 15-ish minutes, but I probably either just missed something small or, like I said, maybe I was supposed to switch to one of the other characters after I finished that first part in Surf Town. But yeah, overall I enjoyed myself. The music was really good, and the graphics, while nothing spectacular, were pretty decent. Most of it kind of reminded me of like a Super Nintendo top-down RPG game. The 3D models for the battle sections are a little bit rough admittedly, but for OG PlayStation, they're passable. I also like that I got bombs. I only got that one item so far, but I like the idea of having an overworld item. It kind of reminds me of Zelda and makes me think that there's more items like that, and they would make this kind of like a mix between a traditional RPG and a Zelda-esque adventure game. Or not, maybe the bombs are the only thing. I don't know. Yet. Well, that's it for this series. I set out to try some different old school games that for the most part I hadn't played before. I made it through all the games on offer, and that's something that
is a level of focus in which I personally have never experienced.
And there were a couple gems here that I actually do want to play again, but overall, I do think the lineup was a bit of a disappointment. This was called the PlayStation Classic, after all, meaning the 20 games included should have been the best of what they had to offer back then, and I don't think they delivered on that. Part of that may just be because I don't have the same rose-tinted nostalgia glasses for these games since I didn't play them growing up. I was playing my Nintendo 64, and it wasn't until later as an adult I found out just how many people hated that system. It's mind-blowing to me that not everyone loves that console and its games as much as I do, so I'm certain that other people feel the same way about the PS1 and even some of the games that I just got done shitting all over. In closing, even though Sony could have done better, if you can find one of these for a bargain price at a garage sale or Goodwill or something, it's still probably worth it to pick it up. They aren't as expensive as they were when they first released, but the price did go back up a little bit once the modding software got released. With just that free software and a few extra bucks for a specific type of flash drive that runs well off the low voltage USB ports, you can pretty easily run any of the PS1 games on it that you want. I'm not super well versed on the technical side of different emulation machines, so I can't speak to if the internal specs on this thing are better or worse for the price than like a Raspberry Pi or one of those super emulation stick things you can buy off AliExpress. Anyway, as always, thanks so much for watching, and also, as always, I have no idea how to end this, so... Okay, love you, bye.